They thought their Amazon parrot was becoming obsessed with the baby. They were completely wrong. Maya had been a pediatric nurse for 11 years. She knew animals. She knew children. She knew, with the particular certainty that comes from a decade of clinical pattern recognition, exactly what she was looking at. She was looking at a bird that had bonded too hard. Kiwi had come before Isla, before the pregnancy. Before the nursery, the blue-fronted Amazon had lived in their house for 6 years, had learned to say breakfast and where's Daddy, and had once screamed a smoke alarm's pitch so accurately that her husband had run downstairs in socks. Kiwi was loud, particular, and entirely devoted to routine. Then Isla arrived, 14 months old now, with the particular waddle of a child who'd been walking for 3 months and still wasn't sure it was worth the effort. And Kiwi changed. It started small. Kiwi stopped going to his perch in the afternoon. He had gone to that perch every afternoon for 6 years. 2 o'clock. The wooden dowel by the east window, where the light came in flat and warm. 6 years, never broken, the way some animals carry their routines like load-bearing walls. Then one Tuesday he didn't go. He landed on the back of the cream sofa instead, 8 inches from where Isla was sitting with her phone blocks, and he stayed there. Maya noted it, filed it, moved on. The next day, he did it again. By the 4th day, he had not visited his perch once. He sat on the sofa arm and watched Isla with the unblinking lateral focus of a bird tracking something it cannot name. Isla ignored him. She stacked her blocks. She knocked them over. Kiwi did not move. He's fixated, Maya thought. Classic displacement behavior. New family member, disrupted hierarchy, redirected attachment. She had read the literature. She knew what this looked like. Then he started making the sound. Not a word. A low, repetitive clicking at the back of his throat. No entry in any behavioral index she'd consulted. It happened when Isla was close. It stopped. Then it happened again. Her husband thought it was cute. He's talking to her. Maya did not think it was cute. A bird that clicks at a 14-month-old. A bird that abandons a 6-year routine to position itself within arm's reach of the most vulnerable person in the house. A bird whose beak could remove the tip of an adult finger without effort. She had seen redirected attachment in animals under stress. She knew exactly how it escalated. She put Isla in the playpen, latched it, watched Kiwi watch the latch. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. On a Wednesday morning, she moved Kiwi's cage to the back bedroom. It felt responsible. It felt like the exact decision a mother with 11 years of pediatric clinical experience should make. Her husband stood in the doorway. He's never hurt anyone. She said, "I'm not waiting for first time." The cage door closed. She latched it. From down the hall, Kiwi made a sound she had never heard before. Not the click. Not a word. something lower, something sustained, the kind of sound that sits in the chest rather than the ear. She walked back to the living room. She was at the kitchen counter when she heard the latch. Then the bedroom door. Then wings. He had opened the cage. He had never done this. He had never shown any interest in doing this. His routine had never required it. Kiwi landed on the sofa. He walked, not flew, walked on his feet, directly to Isla. He pressed his beak against her neck, not biting, pressing. Then he stepped back and screamed once, sharp and clean, directly at Maya, then pressed his beak to her neck again. He had never done this before. Not once. Maya walked to the sofa. Isla was pale. Not fussy pale. A different kind. The specific gray-white Maya had seen on children in triage and had never once seen in her own living room. She picked her up. The child was limp in a way that was not sleepy. She called emergency services, said my daughter, said unresponsive, said her address. Then she opened the front door and stood on the porch in her socks with Isla against her shoulder, while Kiwi, inside, screamed without stopping. The gas technician arrived 4 minutes after the paramedics. He walked through the front door and came back out in 40 seconds. He did not take off his mask. Significant leak at the foundation connector. Has been running for a while. Your CO detector would not catch this. Wrong sensor type for this compound. Your daughter was at floor level. That's where it accumulates first. He looked at the parrot through the window. How long has he been doing that? Maya did not answer. Another 20 minutes, he said quietly, and I'd be talking to different people right now. Has your pet ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories need to be heard. Not displacement. The gas accumulated at floor level, where Isla played, where Kiwi had repositioned himself to stay close to the thing he was detecting and could not leave. The clicking. Not fixation. A warning with no name in any index she owned. The press of his beak against Isla's neck. He had been checking her every time. For days. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. She carried Kiwi's cage back to the living room that evening, set it by the east window. She opened the door without saying anything. He stepped out, walked the length of the sofa, stopped at the portable crib they'd brought downstairs, where Isla was sleeping. He stood at the rail and watched the small chest rise and fall. Then he made the click. Once, low, and then he was quiet.